Yes, sir.
Sad. I thought there was a button you could turn the music down.
Good morning. Can everybody have their seat, please? They told me the first thing I'm supposed to say is hello. Hello. Greetings. They also raised the question, and they being my administrative staff, as to whether this is my first convocation with you or not. I'm not sure. I've met with Joan individually and collectively on several occasions. And I'm honored to take this occasion to meet with you as well. Start of a new year, start of new programs, the fortification of existing programs, and plotting the course for the future. When I came back in going forward, sometime within that month, we published a series of articles in the digest, and among others, it talked about a new era. I still think we're on the path for a new era. However, that path is not as consistent and effective as I would like it. And so what I want to talk to you a little bit this morning, and I have my stopwatch. So if we go over, and I said if we go over an hour and 30 minutes, I see Dawn pulling out her stopwatch to make sure that I stay on target. That's okay. All of y'all pull them out. It's okay. But I want to talk to you a little bit about my vision and about some of the things I see in helping us to implement a new era. The vision, how many of y'all have read my vision? I sent it out to most of you anyway. I made it available when I first came, so it's no secret as to what's in it. Although I was told by at least one administrator that 90% probably had not read it. I hope that's not the case. But if you haven't, I would strongly encourage you to do so, and do so soon. Because it will have a profound impact on the land-grant campus going forward. That includes our programs, that includes our clientele, and most importantly, that includes us. We're talking about a new era, a new day, a way of doing things. I had the occasion to look at a series of job descriptions. And other than the title of those jobs, they basically all were the same. And it didn't matter whether they were teaching, research, or extension. It didn't matter whether they were in one department or the other. Something critically wrong with that. It says to me that either everybody's doing the same thing, or very few are doing anything, at least on a consistent basis. Everybody in here has a job description. Not should have, but you have a job description. What we want to make sure is that that job description is consistent with the job assignment. And that each person understands what she or he is hired for, what they will be held accountable for, and what they will be evaluated on at the end of the year, but periodically through the year. All of that you will find as part of the business plan. I've asked Dr. Renita Walker to put together a committee, a comprehensive committee across the campus to develop the strategic plan. I know she's already identified people that will serve on it. But everybody in here, plus those across the various counties we have, will have an opportunity to participate in it. I had a meeting on, when it was Wednesday, with the expanded administrative council. Let me just point a little bit out about what that expanded council is. Everybody that's supervising anybody and been assigned supervisory responsibilities. And I see it that way because some people are supervising people for which they shouldn't be supervising. But everybody that's been assigned a supervisory role was in that meeting on Wednesday. Or should have been in that meeting on Wednesday. Those are the people that will hold the people they supervise accountable. And it will follow up the chain. In some cases above my level even. Because there are some university benchmarks that I'm held accountable for. And because I'm held accountable for them, that impacts the whole campus. So just keep that in mind. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the people we serve in a timely fashion that they can use it. We say we're working with John Doe, we're working with him to sue, whether that's a student, whether that's a farmer, whether that's a community. If in fact that's true, and it should be, and in many cases it is, then we should have some deliverables. We should be able to say at the end of a given time period that this is what has been achieved. We have statisticians in here at every level. We should be able to pump out data that show the effectiveness of what we're doing. I met briefly this morning with an extension agent from LSU that's also a teaching faculty. I can't remember his name now. But he's looking at and helping us. We've asked him to come over and look at how we can improve on-campus demonstrations. In this case, in animal science, in pasture management, evaluating various grasses and the nutritional level of them and so on and so forth. We should have that kind of expertise here. And if we don't have it, we will get it. You know, I would like to see our faculty profile across departments, across research, across extension, double. I think that's doable. But it's not gonna happen next week, next month, next year. There will be a systematic plan for the increased faculty members in critical areas. I had the unfortunate opportunity last 2 days to meet with 2 students. One had a 1.8. Yesterday, one came in and had a 0.8. Wanted to come into this college. One of them already been accepted in this college. Other one was obviously turned down, but both of them should have been turned down. Right. But we considered them because they were grossly mismanaged, misadvised. And not just in this campus, but across this university. To the extent that I have, and I will continue to have, conversations above my level about the situation. We say we're student-oriented. We say we like the best education that our students can afford. But where's the evidence? When somebody is accepted to come back to school with a 1.8 or with a 0.8. Something wrong with the picture. You know, you all know that I believe in education. I believe in student growth and development. And so do you. And if in fact that's the case, how can you sit idly by knowing that your students are getting what they're supposed to get, whether it's in your class, whether it's in your neighbor's class, or your peer class, or whether it's across campus? And so we're setting up different kinds of mechanisms for evaluation. No longer will a faculty member be able to have a student advisee that they see once a month or once a year, in some cases not even that much. And so I've asked Dr. Walker to talk with the department heads and to develop a mechanism for advisement, making sure that the students have the right curriculum and that they're sticking to it. We have a duty and a responsibility to pump out the best and brightest kids around. That means that we gotta do more. I'm told, and I know it's not true, that some faculty members have not changed their course syllabus in 5 years or more. I know that's not true. I would like to know that anyway, and I don't believe it. But to the extent that it may be true, department heads, associate dean, hopefully your peers will be saying, what are you teaching? Here's what I'm teaching. How does it flow up the chain to make sure that our students are getting the right knowledge in various areas? No longer can we allow students that don't have the critical mass in a given area to teach a given course. Our teachers sign up for courses that they know whether they qualify or not, they know they're not going to teach them. And they got other people teaching them that may or may not, and in most cases do not, meet the 18-hour requirement or like the experience that's necessary. So we want to take a close look at that. We're coming up with accreditation. Is it February, Dr. Walker?
No, it's a mid-cycle review report that's due in April. But we having to deal with the assessment by the first week in February.
So how many of you all know about that? assessment the first week in February. How many participate? Raise your hands high. It should be all of them instructional factor, right?
Right.
Okay. And it should be others that may be able to help, that are invited to help, right?
Right.
We're talking about teamwork. You know, whether you're teaching or not, if you can help, it helps the whole university. You know, accreditation, assessment of benchmarks that for the regions, the legislature, the governor, president, and others we use to assess what kind of resources we have, what kind of resources we deserve. So we got to make sure whatever assessments we have and do are correct. We want to have a new evaluation mechanism where we look at those faculty that are on tenure track and make sure as they move through the chain, they have faculty peer mentors that will help assess their progress. Why? Because you are a part of our family, and we don't want to lose you. And so we can't not sit by and watch you not doing what you need to get tenure, and then when you apply for it, they say, well, you have done this, this, and that. That's not a family-oriented practice, or shouldn't be. So we want to make sure that you follow the right track so that everybody can be assessed. We have identified some monies for faculty development. Dr. Walker and the department heads will be talking to you about those as well, and the processes that's necessary to do that. Because we want you to be sharp in what you're doing. So whether that professional development is a meeting, or whether it's a short course, or whatever it takes to get you up and running. Everybody in here should be doing research of some type, myself included. Everybody in here. There's no such thing as I'm teaching, so I don't have time to do research. Do research on your various classes over time, see what kind of progress they're making, see what kind of other things you can bring to the table that you can assess them on and help you build a stronger teaching program. Do research based on what extension tell you that they need in the field. And it doesn't matter whether you're an extension or research, you still can do research. Some of the best researchers I've seen at other universities were in extension. And in most cases, you can't tell the difference. We're talking about a different kind of mindset. So keep that in mind. Student recruitment. Value. It's almost a forgotten word. But I tell you up front, it won't be. I won't let it be. You won't let it be. It's the umbrella for all student recruitment, retention, graduation, employment, and the hands-on experience that we can get at every level. There are too many of us out here working with students in various capacities. But we work with them for too short a time. We're not working with your whole family in many cases. You know, I was very disappointed when we had a couple of career days, well, I won't call them necessarily career days, but recruitment activities. Only to find that the students that signed up for various programs and what have you had never been contacted. 90% of the people in here had never even seen the results in terms of names and what have you. That's unacceptable. I've said to the board chair, I've said to the president, I've said to the provost, I've said to you all, we all have a responsibility to recruit blue chippers. Same way the athletic department recruit high-profile athletes, we should be doing the same thing. In fact, we can do it even more so because they have limitations in terms of when they can recruit and what they can say and what they can offer. We don't have those limitations. Somebody asked the other day at the administrative meeting, well, how many scholarships we give? How much money we raise for the gala? But I pointed out not enough. And for your information, we raised about $4,000 for the people that's in this room, plus some of the families not here. Overall, we raised some $37,000. And this man here, right here, this corner, Mr. Simeon, helped us do that. We gotta do more. If we can't help us, then how can we expect others to help us? Hopefully, everything holds. We're still in the process of negotiating a marijuana contract. Hopefully that'll happen by this February board meeting. But for your information, we have roughly $200,000 in there earmarked for scholarships for this college. So what I said to the gentleman that asked me, what are we doing? I'm paraphrasing it now. But what I said to them, don't worry about the scholarship. You worry about the students. If you get the students, we will get this money for them. I promise you that. I've set up apprenticeship programs, I've set up assistantship program. We still will have some scholarship programs, but I would like to eliminate all scholarship programs and convert them to apprenticeships or assistantship, because I want hands-on experience by all of you working with the students. And we can have that if we buy into it. If you buy into my vision, if we develop the strategic plan that will help implement it, there's nothing that we can't do if we put forth a collective effort. Teamwork works. It doesn't matter whether you like each other or not. We are poised to be the greatest college on campus, to be the greatest land grant on campus, if you will, in the whole land grant system. We're smaller, so we can do things while other people are thinking about it. And whether you know it or not, we're already talking it down in terms of the things that we're doing now. And they could be at best 50% better. So we gotta do it. We gotta do it consistently. Any questions about my vision? About how it will be implemented? Any questions, I will entertain them at this time so we can move on. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Is there anybody that don't understand what I'm saying? Are we gonna have a new era? I assume silence means no. Let me ask you again, are we going to have a real new era?
Yes.
But I hope we get more enthusiasm about it. new contracts than what we're getting about when we don't have a division now. But I assure you, we're going to have one. We're going to have a plan going forward. And I hope all of you all are on board with it. I don't want to lose nobody that's in here now. And I certainly want to add to those of you who are here. But if you think you can hide, you can procrastinate, you can continue your current way of action, then I think you need to think again. And this is not just Bobby Fields talking. This is coming from the top. But I certainly share in it. Because Southern is for too long has been known only because it is a system. But we're not the #1 graduating school. Tuskegee is. And it costs, what, 2,000 to 3,000 more to go to Tuskegee to come here? Something wrong with that nature. We gotta do more. We will do more. I'm with you. But I also want you to be with me. I can help you if you allow me to help you. But you gotta help yourself first. So again, as it relates to my vision, look into it, look deeply into it. Because the department heads and other administrators will be asking you, what in this vision can you do? What in this vision you want to do? What in this vision will allow you to work with others in a team-oriented perspective, across borders, if you will, or they say in Congress, across the aisle, to make it happen. I beg of you, take what I'm saying serious. I've never been more serious in my life about what we're doing. I will lead, I will follow, I will walk on the side of it, but we will walk together. I thank you all for your time and listen to what I have from a vision perspective. And since you have no questions, we will move on with the agenda. Academic overview, Dr. Walker. And if you want to use the mic again,
Thank you, Chancellor Fields. Good morning. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to meet with all of you. I have had the pleasure of meeting some of you at various events since I joined the university. I am still in the orientation stage of my employment here, learning new information every day and experiencing the Southern University culture. But I'm happy to be here and am looking forward to building a collegial relationship as we work together to make a positive difference in the educational experiences of our students. I've already begun to work with our department chairs, and before I continue with my remarks, I would like for them at this time to introduce new faculty members and staff who have joined Southern since fall of 2017. So I'm going to start with you, Dr. Marsha, if you would introduce them, and then followed by, yes, come on.
Good morning. So in the Department of Agriculture Sciences.
She's okay.
They record it, so we want to make sure everybody can hear.
Okay. So in the Department of Agriculture Sciences, we've had a few individuals that have joined in joint appointed roles. For animal science, we have Dr. Harold Million. Would you please stand? Remain standing. In agriculture economics and agriculture business, even though they have been serving adjunct roles, they've been joined for joint appointment as well, Dr. Oscar Udo and Dr. Ben Lukongo. In plant and soil sciences, we have Dr. Vanessa Pichot, Dr. Devaya Cambaranda, Dr. Janice Snowden, and Dr. Marlon Ford, and Dr. Kit Chin. Will the existing faculty for Department of Agricultural Sciences please stand as well? If you're here. Existing, Ms. Harris. Okay, I wanted to tell you all, with all new things, there do come changes. And with changes, things we may not agree with, things we may not like. But if you're going to remain within the organization, we have to. Let me start over. With all new things, there comes changes. And I wanted to let you all know, whether we agree with them or not, if we are going to remain within the organization, we must engage in order to move the organization forward. And I wanted to personally thank you in a public setting for what you have done and for what I want you to continue to do. We need to work as a team, continue to support each other as we remain resilient in building and advancing the Department of Agriculture Sciences. Thank you.
And I think perhaps I should have introduced you as a new administrative leader at the college. First year as department chair. Thank you very much. Dr. T. Urban Forestry.
I'm going to be very loud and short. Urban Forestry.
Take them out.
The Department of Urban Forestry and Natural Resources had Department of Urban Forestry and Natural Resources has 2 new faculty members. Dr. Yao Tomasi, he's our GIS hydrology professor. His rank is associate professor. And Dr. Veronica Marica, she is an entomologist/pathologist. Her position is assistant professor. Thank you. Will all the urban forestry faculty please stand, be recognized? Thank you.
Dr. Cyrus.
Good morning. Good morning again. I'm Cassandra Cyrus, the interim chair for Family and Consumer Sciences, and I'd like to introduce our program leaders, Ms. Josie Butler, Dr. Josie Butler, if you would stand, and if you would introduce your department.
We have one new faculty member, Dr. Sammy Kennedy Benson, and we're so grateful to have her. She is a recent PhD graduate from Iowa State University, but she was also a department head at Baltimore Community College, and we're very grateful to have her. She has already hit the ground running. She has planned some activities for students using the contacts that she has brought with her down here, so we're just so pleased to have Dr. Kennedy Benson.
And will the existing faculty for apparel and design please stand? Is Dr. So in?
Dr. So had class this morning.
She's in the back.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Bernstein McGee.
Morning.
Our adjunct faculty, which is Convocation. Thank you.
Okay. And we also have our program leader for child development, and that's Dr. Nelson. And would you introduce that?
Okay, we have Dr. Cyrus, who teaches in the child development program. Dr. Elaine Mackey is coming back. Okay, next month, and then we have a new adjunct faculty who could not be here this morning, but her name is Miss Keisha Caesar.
Okay, and we're constantly recruiting. If you know of others who are interested in changing their majors and coming over to family and consumer sciences, please don't fail to contact us.
Thank you.
I was just told that, because we have an outside audience that are listening in, everybody told me wanted to come to the podium.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, as briefly as I can, to just share with you some directions that we are planning to go. As we looked at the Chancellor's vision and some of the areas of work that he has focused on, I've already been talking with the department chairs, and I'm sure you have heard some of these issues that I'm going to focus on at this point. But before I get into some specifics with respect to the college, I'm going to start with the university, the system. There is an emphasis on the fact that we need to ensure that our college is in compliance with the SACS program assessment via live text. And for that reason, we were sent someone from academic affairs to provide some training for the assessment directors. And we've had that training, and the department chairs were involved as well. And the goal was to, for the assessment program individuals to go back and work with their colleagues in order to get the information in the system. And it was my understanding, and I'm not quite sure the reason why, we were asked to go back to 2013 to input the data into the system. And this is very critical for SACS. We're asked to complete this task by the end of the first week in February. And then the university, the system, that is, has to give a report by the 1st of April. And we want to make sure that we are in compliance. Our college is in compliance with that. It's my understanding that the university is responding to SACS in terms of providing a mid-cycle report and also preparing for the reaffirmation that is expected to be awarded the university in the next 4 or 5 years. Another issue that is related is the faculty load policy. And this issue also impacts the SACS policy, and we need to be in compliance with that. And just a few minutes ago, Dr. Phil, I don't know if you saw an email from Dr. Young that refers to the overload policy, where there are faculty on this campus, not the land-grant campus, but on the main campus, who are continuing to teach large numbers of courses, and it impact the overload policy. So we'll be talking with department chairs about that and taking a look at our own college. I didn't see anyone teaching 8, 9, 10 courses in our college just yet, but there are some colleges where people are really teaching large loads. The other issue that we have focused on, Dr. Phil mentioned, student recruitment and retention in our college, and the kinds of things that we must do to move forward in that direction. And we will be discussing this in our, with the department chairs and in our various departmental meetings, looking at the ways in which we can do better in terms of retaining our students, not just recruiting, but retaining them to graduation. Dr. Phil also mentioned the importance of service and his expectation in that area, serving on committees. And so we have a number of committees. I've already asked the department chairs to give me a list of individuals who would be willing to serve on the various committees. And they are promotion and tenure, that's for teaching faculty, post-tenure review. I understand from Dr. Young that there is a policy, and I've had a chance to read that policy, but there are no guidelines just yet. And like she told me, they're beginning to work across the campus, across the system on post-tenure review guidelines. And she wants us to be able to share ideas that we're coming up with during our meetings. So we would keep her posted there. And then the Chancellor mentioned the Awards and Recognition Committee for faculty and staff. And so we'll be asking your participation in that committee as well. And then finally, the Strategic Planning Committee. He has asked the question of how many people have read his vision statement. Well, we're going to take the committee, the Strategic Planning Committee, we'll take that vision statement and pull it apart in terms of identifying goals within the next 4 to 5 year period, and then look at objectives that we would like to accomplish. We'll also identify a timeline for completing them, and then decide who's going to be responsible for various aspects of the activities that we identify for reaching those goals, or sometimes individuals, sometimes units, programs that would be responsible for addressing those issues. And then not only the time frame, but if there are resources needed to help us to realize the goal or meet the objectives, we will also try and identify those as well. I'm really excited about the strategic planning aspect of this job, because I've had a chance to work with 2 other universities. One of them is 1890, that is the University of Maryland Eastern Shore in 2011. And then Coppin State University, which is in Baltimore, in 2013. So it's something that I enjoy doing, so I look forward to working with you and hearing your ideas and get you excited about planning for the next 5 years using Dr. Phil's vision to help us to follow through with that. And then we've talked about ways in which we can improve student advising. So that's something that we'll be discussing in our department meetings, and that you in your departmental meetings, ways in which we can improve on what we do. I understand from Dr. Ross there in the academic affairs that the university, the main campus, is in the process of decentralizing student advising. And they plan to roll out this pilot program this spring, but in the summer, then it should be shifted over to colleges. So in other words, what had been done in the past at the academic affairs level, they now want that to be done in the colleges. And they're going to use those individuals who have participated, who've been the leaders in the camp advising, to now be assigned to colleges to help us with the new program. So faculty need to get ready for more online monitoring, more online work in terms of how you monitor and document student progression through towards graduation. Faculty development is another issue that has been brought to our attention. Dr. Ross again shared with me that there is some money in academic affairs available for those faculty who are not in research, who are interested in professional development activities outside of the campus. So if you wish to go to a workshop outside of the campus or a conference, that's going to help you as an individual to better do your job, then there are funds available, not a lot, she said. And those small grants will help a non-research faculty. And then she would encourage you to seek funding your own unit that might support, because they don't have a lot of money. It's on a first come, first served basis, so keep that in mind. And then I've been working with Ms. Campbell and Ms. Kim Butler in the last few days, as they have, we've discussed something that is relatively new within the college, and that is having student ambassadors in our college. And these young people will be available to help us promote the college, promote the disciplines within the college, their own majors, and maybe serve as peer advisors, in a sense, to our freshmen and sophomore students. And so we're in the process now of identifying those individuals. The department chairs have the applications available. We have established some guidelines to follow. And so within the next few weeks, hopefully we can identify those groups. And I can tell you from my experience, when I was dean at the University of Kentucky, we have what we call dean's advisors. And those students were very helpful in identifying new students, helping the university with recruitment, helped us with special events, and when alum came to campus. So they were just all over the place, telling people about their majors, excited about being at the university and in the college. So we're hoping to develop that kind of interest among our students going forward. I'm just about done. I was looking to see how many courses are offered online in our college, and I discovered there are none. Well, folks, it's 2018. We've got to get on board. We need to offer courses online for our students. So I'm hoping that that will be part of our strategic plan, so that within the next academic year, we have at least one course in each department or each discipline that's offered online. We really got to keep pace with what's going on in higher education. So I'm looking forward to working with you, and feel free to visit with me, to stop by the office. My doors are always open. I'm always open to talking with people with new ideas and wanting to explore new avenues. Thank you so very much.
Dr.
I missed something. I'm back. I forgot to mention, I take it back, I did not forget, I just overlooked it. I wanted to thank the form workers and the research associates, because I know without them, we would not be able to do what we need to do in the Department of Ag Sciences and our courses for setting up labs, chauffeuring students from here to the research station. So I wanted to say thank you.
Good morning and Happy New Year. I'm going to make my comments brief. As I understand it, we do not have lunch, right, Chancellor?
You have lunch after you finish here?
Okay, lunch is not being provided. And we have the Mobile Educational Technology Unit outside in front. If you haven't had a chance to see it, most of you haven't. Out back, excuse me. It's in the back parking lot. It's a tool that's going to revolutionize the way that we do everything here at the land-grant campus. We have a few new appointments, and unfortunately, as I share the new appointments, I also share bad news. Dr. Tiffany Franklin is our youth specialist, but she isn't here. She's on funeral leave. Her father-in-law passed. Dr. Marlon Ford is responsible for our urban agriculture programs. He's not here. His mother had a stroke this morning, so he's going to New Orleans where she's in rehab. Kelly Hollins is here. Would you please stand, Kelly? She's taking over General Agriculture Natural Resources Planning Programming. And some more bad news. Mr. Justin Egby received a call this morning. His sister in Nigeria passed. So, on a brighter note, my comments are going to focus on one theme from the Chancellor's vision, and that's teamwork. Teamwork is what's going to propel us farther. Teamwork is what's going to keep us alive, and teamwork is going to take us to heights we can't imagine. What the Cooperative Extension Program will do in cooperation with all of you is we will publish an extension calendar to include all events, not just the events here at the state office, but the events across the state from all of our agents. Unfortunately, they can't all be here, but we do have a few. Two ladies came from all the way on the Arkansas border. Would you all stand? Ms. Carolyn Robinson, Ms. Grace Seegers, would you all stand, please? When they saw mandatory, they immediately got on the phone, got a rental car, made the necessary arrangements. Their schedules were free. They're the exception and not the rule. We're going to, like I said, publish a calendar so you can see whenever we have any type of event all across the state. For those of you who are from Louisiana, if you just happen to be at home visiting, please come out and join us. If you're not, if you see something that you want to attend, let us know. If we're not going from the state office, and maybe we can get a band together and go out. So we're gonna open our doors. We're also going to create opportunities for additional faculty and staff to assist us with those events. Tomorrow we have an event right here at Save-A-Lot on Plank Road. What time is it, Deshawn? Excuse me, let me introduce you, Dr. Deshawn York. Stand up, please. Brand new PhD at 10 o'clock. She's spearheading an event at Save-A-Lot. All of you are invited to attend. We're also, when we're leaving the state office, going out to meet with our various publics and clientele. We will let you know where we're going. In case you're kind of shy, you haven't been out to a certain community, or you don't have a personal contact in the community, we do. Whenever we're going out, we're going to let you all know and extend those opportunities for you to come along and travel with us. We have limited funding for that, unless you want to share more. But we're going to try and make forth the effort to work and collaborate more as teams and let you all know what we're going, where we're going and what we're doing. And if we all take advantage of the opportunity, that creates an excellent opportunity to recruit students. Because the one thing we pride ourselves on doing in the Cooperative Extension Program is working with families. Everybody from the cradle to the grave. Shernette Nixon is in the audience. Would you please stand, Shernette? She's one of our nutrition educators out of Jennings and Jeff Davis Parish. Are there any other extension folks other than the state staff? Would the state staff stand, please? Extension state staff, please stand. Okay, and thank you all. I appreciate everything you do every single day. But where the rubber meets the road is our agents who are out in cyberland listening to us. And it's important that you come up here because they can't see the audience. They can only see when you come up here. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Research and technology development, Dr.
Good afternoon. And Happy New Year. As I thought about our Chancellor's vision and began to break it apart, the one thing that continued to resonate in my mind is service, both internally and externally, and internally serving one another. And I think in order for us to move forward, we have to begin to do a better job at serving each other, assisting each other as we move forward. In addition to that, I think we've done a fairly decent job on an external basis, but we still need to move forward in that as well. But in thinking about his vision, one of the things that came to my mind is that in order for that vision to be moved forward, we all have to own it, and we all have to believe in it. And so we have to grab hold to those portions that we feel we can move with and move forward with those. I want to talk about, I think our joint appointments as it relates to research, we've already talked about. I do want to highlight some the new additions which have already been introduced, but I do want to indicate what they'll be focusing on. Dr. Devaya will be focusing on viticulture and some other areas. We have Dr. Yao that'll be focused on hydrology and GIS, and we also have Dr. Veronica who will be focusing on entomology. So please give them assistance, if you will, as they move forward and really try to grab hold to what we do here at Southern University. Couple of things I want to highlight. Dr. Marshall kind of brought up an interesting point. She talked about the fact that change is necessary. And in thinking about that, as it relates to research and technology, we will have to begin to do things just a little bit different than we've done in the past. This year, we happen to be probably the first year we ever had to ask for a waiver as it relates to our funding, our Evans-Allen's funding. A waiver simply means that we did not realize the necessary funds from state. And so we're asking the federal government to waive it, thereby allowing us to receive our full match. What that basically means is that we really will have to do things a little bit different as it relates to Evans-Allen's, as it relates to those who are being funded by research. We will have to do things just a little bit different. And in doing that, there are going to be some new policies that will go forth, and we'll bring that to your attention as we go forth, and I'll begin to share that with you a little bit further and how we're going to go about doing that. But some changes will have to take place in order for us to maintain and also expand. So there will be some changes that will take place. In addition to that, over the last month or so, we've been really dealing with some internal budget issues as it relates to faculty, scientists who have grants and things of that nature. In most cases, overspending. And so we have a new policy that we will instill to bring up that will allow us to really kind of deal with that in a better fashion. And so what that simply means is that in the future, for any kind of budget adjustments, you will need to at least have 3 days in my office before that particular paperwork is signed. So that will give us an opportunity to really evaluate, to see if money is available, see what has been encumbered, so we won't have an issue going forward. So I want you guys to be aware of that. We will send you some documentation, some information highlighting that, so you guys are aware of that. Couple other things I want to make known to you guys is Dr. Fields and all of us are really kind of interested as we go forward in evaluation. All of us will be evaluated to a large degree. And so I want you guys to be prepared for that, because We will send out some communications relative to us being evaluated. For our research scientists, I'm asking you guys to, we're preparing to put together an annual newsletter. And so I'm asking you guys to send information. I will give you some additional communication in regard to that. We will begin to do an annual newsletter that highlights research. We will put it in a format that's easily read by our clientele. But we will be asking you guys to send us some additional information so we can send those things out. As I begin to close, again, and I think Dr. Marshall mentioned this before, but I also want to thank our farm workers. I want to thank those who are on the ground level, those who are really working to make sure that our experimental plots are in order, that we have bans when we need to move where we need to move, that our animals are in the condition that we need to be in. So I really want to thank you guys for the work that you do, and I want to celebrate you. And thank you again from the bottom of my heart for all the work that you do. I know it's oftentimes unseen, it's oftentimes you don't get the appreciation that you deserve, but I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. I want to highlight two quick things. One of which we talked about on yesterday, but you guys many of you were not privy to it. We will be having a symposium that will coincide with our annual scholarship banquet. That, as of now, the date is set for April the 12th and the 13th. So I want you guys to make note of that. It's set for April the 13th, the 12th and the 13th. And that symposium, we're really calling it, as of now, we're calling it One Health Promoting Sustainable Communities. And that might change a little bit, but the whole premise is really centered around us promoting sustainable communities. And it really kind of brings into play everything that we do here on the land-grant campus. So it embodies, or it takes, it's very comprehensive in that all the things that we do here is kind of centered in that, and we will focus on the efforts that we have here at the land-grant, on the land-grant campus, but we also want to celebrate and market our students in a greater fashion. So we certainly want your assistance as we go forward with that. And embodied in that also we'll have, we will highlight our 3 new institutes that we have just brought on board. And so those institutes are the Institute for One Health and One Medicine, led by Dr. Renita Marshall, the Institute for Medicinal Plants, led by Dr. Janice Snowden, and the Institute for Food Science, Nutrition, and Wellness, led by Dr. Fatima Malekian. And so just briefly, I would like for them to stand. You guys already know them, but I'd like for them to stand, and then we'll talk about a little bit later exactly what's embedded in those particular institutes. Please stand if you can. And my final parting thought is, very quickly, I'm gonna say this. We live by believing. And as I thought about as we come on next week, as we think about the Super Bowl as it comes up, for those who watch football, one of the things that I thought about is that, although I don't really care for him all that much, but Tom Brady, perhaps the greatest quarterback of all time. One of the things that I thought about with him is that he has a tendency to throw a pass when his receiver has never turned to look for the ball. In essence, his receiver believes that the ball is going to be there when he gets there. And Tom believes that the receiver is going to be there when he gets there. What that simply means is that all of us got a spot to get to. All of us have a spot to get to. And in this vision, all of us need to make sure we're getting to the spot. The ball will be there. But make sure you get to your spot. And that means we have to work together in order to get there. My last statement, then I'm done very quickly. If anybody is in research who has not gotten a Southern University Ag Center pen, please let me know. And furthermore, if even beyond that, if you do not have a Southern University accent or pen, let me know, and we'll try to get one to you. All right?
In my haste, I forgot to introduce Mr. Antonio Harris. I did? Yeah, I forgot to introduce you, and I apologize. Mr. Antonio Harris is Director of SUAG. Are any of your folks, any of your team members here with you?
No, they're recruiting this morning.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from any of the previous speakers? Any questions, comments? If not, we have about 25 minutes left before the 1:30 time. Is 1:30 time frame? An hour and a half. Okay. We have a number of specific departmental groups that have some information they want to share, and so we're going to ask them to come up, starting with finance.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'd just like to say that in the effort of keeping with the Chancellor's vision, you know, finance is the backbone of the land-grant campus. We keep y'all fiscally sound and basically in layman terms out of jail. So just know that we appreciate you listening to us because they're not our rules, they're federal, state, and university rules that we're following. If the finance team, please stand. We have 3 of them, 2 of them are out on pre-approved leave. But this is just some of our team, and we all work together to keep all of you straight. So let's give them a hand. Like I tell the Chancellor all the time, finance has no downtime, and we really don't. Okay, we are constantly working. But there are a couple of things that I did want to share with you that I shared in the other group on Wednesday as well as Monday. One of our initiatives that we have taken upon this particular year, we're going to start targeting certain particular groups with some fiscal training. So we're targeting first the administrative staff. A list will be going out today of those persons. The target date is for February the 1st, and it's to target those individuals that help the department heads get their paperwork processes. We want to start with them first, some others later within the future. So that's one of our initiatives that we're going to start certain target groups. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is that all times we have up and coming audits and things that are going on that are in our near future, that most of the time finance is your shield so they won't get to you. One of the things I want to make sure that you're aware of, we will need your time and efforts done if you have not already done so. They should be done monthly. I'm going to send out a reminder to everybody to complete their time and efforts if you're on any type of federal funds. And then finally, you hear a lot of things in the news. Just want to briefly make sure that you're aware that the governor, of course, once he completes his special session, we will know for certain exactly how much our cut will be. At first, they proposed 10%, which is catastrophic to anybody's general fund. But now the Board of Regents has proposed 3.5%. So we're hoping that it will be less than that. So let's keep all of that with our fingers crossed that they argue back and forth enough to go less than 3.5%, because you know we all like having paper in our paper machines, don't we? To say that's all I have for finance today. Any other things, please make sure to look on your emails because I'll be sending stuff out. Thank you.
Human resources?
Good afternoon. Just real quickly, we are working on an internal leave policy as relates to the land grant campus. That's one of the first that we're working on as we go to work forward to updating the handbook for the faculty and staff here. And most importantly, that we need to focus on the FMLA leave. Please, please, please make sure that your supervisors are aware of any leave that you will be taking that is longer than 30 days in advance. Please longer than 30 days or more, please make sure that they are aware at least a week or two in advance. That is really important. That's something that we really need to get a handle on. And communication is going to be the best way that we can really figure that issue out until we can kind of get something more forthcoming, like in writing. Thank you.
Programs and evaluation. Oscar, you know.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I will keep you longer if the chancellor has provided lunch, but designed that. I want to thank you for all your support to the Office of Grants and Programming. And over the years, we've been talking about submitting reports on time and doing what we need to do to satisfy the funding priorities. I want to also introduce Mrs. Erica Williams Mitchell. Mrs. Asta Yosef is out on leave. So those are the two members of staff in my area. I just want to remind you, we send out quarterly report, request for quarterly report every 3 months. And the importance of this quarterly report. This data that we collect, we put it into the Louisiana Accountability Performance System website. And these data are used to determine our performance based on the budget. And if you ever read HB1, House Bill 1, which is the budget bill, you will see under higher education, Southern University System, the Southern University Ag Center, you will see the objectives that we provide to you, and you will see also the projections that we have to meet to be able to receive the funding that we receive. Whenever we are at variance, that is, we perform poorly, we will be called to question, and we may have our funding reduced. So I'm just saying this to tell you that it's no joke when we send this out, and we agonize when we don't meet our targets, because we'll be watching emails to see if there will be a request for us to provide explanation for low performance. So please, when we send this request out, respond and provide the data that we need. We send this request out usually first quarter to cover July, September, second quarter covers October to December, third quarter covers January to March, and fourth quarter covers April to June. And at the end of that year, we have to give explanation for why we have not met our target. Sometimes we get requests or we get questions and we will respond. But the way we stand now, we've lost so much from extension. A lot of staff retired or resigned. And extension has been or continues to be the hub, if you will, for most of the data that we collect for the HB1, because they are out there on a daily basis. I mean, research provides information also. We don't, for our HB1, we don't provide information on the academic side. That goes to SUBR. But research also provides information. So extension has lost a lot of staff. So we are asking you, please, in research, whenever you conduct activities, whenever you publish, whenever you make presentations, provide us with that information. Sometimes you write article in the newspaper or send press release, or you may have publication, some newspaper or TV or radio cover your program or your activity. Let us know. If you don't know the number, we will call and receive viewership, readership, or listeners to that particular area so that we will complete our data. If you conduct workshops, classes, meetings, please use the official sign-in sheet to provide the data and provide the numbers. Also, on the sign-in sheet, do not cut off the bottom, the waiver, because if you do, the waiver, if you read the waiver at the bottom, it says we are non-discriminatory, but the most important thing is that by signing this sign-in sheet, you permit Southern University to use your picture or your video on our website and in promoting our program. So if you cut it off and somebody happens to sue us and we go look at the sign-in sheet and you didn't have it, well, the university will have to sue you, excuse me. Because the university will let you know that this was not something you were supposed to do. You're supposed to leave all this documents intact. NIFA report. If you have projects with NIFA, please try to complete them, the reports on time, because, well, we have audit coming next month. No, I'm ahead of myself. In March, it's almost next month. So they'll be here from the 28th to the 30th. So they will ask you questions and have your documents ready. And that brings me to maintaining records for your projects. You do not throw the records away, because if you do, and they ask for them and you don't provide, then they call the question. So maintain those records until such a time that we don't need them again. Other than that, if you have questions, I'll gladly answer. Thank you so much.
Home facilities.
Good afternoon. Let me first bring you the bad news. The bad news is that this building is going to be repaired. We're in the process of entering into a contract to get the AO wings completely redone with the air conditioning, the whole enchilada, so we call it. There were some question marks about the moving of personnel, and I think that would be of interest to you. The contractor, the last time we met, talked about moving it in stages of 5. We got to get some clarity on that. We're going to meet with him supposedly today. It's probably going to be Monday. We'll find out exactly how he's going to do that. We are interested in the outside offices, not necessarily the inside. We hope that we can make the move and not move you to other places. For example, to Fisher or to the child daycare center. We're going to try to keep the staff together, and I think that is the desire of the chancellor also. But we would like for your cooperation. This project is on schedule for 1 year, 360 days, is what he's saying that it's going to take to repair this building. With some contractors yesterday, and they're going to be dealing with the air handlers. The air handlers are not in this particular contract. So the second contract will be in, and I'm trying to coordinate that so you will only be inconvenient for one time to get all of this put together. As far as the other buildings are concerned, as you know, the last show is coming up. We're in the process of having another building built next to the arena. There's some question marks about entering and leaving the arena because the present roads are not as they should be. The tonnage of the trucks that's coming in and out is continuously deteriorating the streets that goes into the arena. So we want you to be careful as you go in. Those persons who exhibit animals, be sure to tell the haulers that the roads conditions are not as they usually are. They are under construction. We're going to try to improvise by doing a second street, and I need to get with the Vice Chancellor as to see how she want to do that. But there is a problem. So we want you to be well aware of it before you go there. See, the next thing, there was some questions about the child daycare center as far as Dr. Cyrus was saying. That is on schedule, supposedly. The building, the new building that we build is on schedule. Inside storage is a little bit behind. I think that will be released shortly. And if there's any questions, I'll entertain them afterwards. Let me just. Oh yeah, some of you might see the finance center at night when you leave. If you should be coming through in the day, obviously at night on this end of the campus, and you see the lights out, if you would just be kind enough to just email me or send me a message, because we're having an electrical problem with that building. We want the finance to be sure to know that we're not omitting them because of the fact that some nights they come out, the lights out. We do have animals that roam around campus. We don't want the ladies especially to be out there without being protected. So if it's necessary, when you leave this, or even here at Old Williams, if you leave after 7 or when you're dark, if you're alone, I would strongly suggest maybe you call the police and let them know that you are back here, that you are leaving, because we don't want you to participate in something that's not, that you can win. Let's put it like that. Thank you so much.
Fundraising. Just before Mr. Allen come up, one of the things, two of the things the university administration has said, every campus got to be involved heavily in student recruitment, retention, and graduation. Every student. Every faculty, staff, and students for that matter, got to be involved in fundraising of some type. Now, fundraising comes in many different ways. When we recruit students, we're fundraising. You know, we have 150 students, or we had 150 students that was enrolled last semester that didn't come back for one reason or another this semester. You already know we're having a lot of financial difficulties, including the governor's new initiative on how much funds he's going to cut in higher education. That 150 students, I'm told, will cost the university in excess of $2 million. So fundraising is not just giving you money, but it's giving students that pay tuition, that help keep the doors and windows and electricity on, and so on and so forth. We got to have more fundraising. I use one word, fundraising. We have not been doing that as a campus. Take the gala, for example. From the land grant campus, we raised approximately $4,000. Everybody in here is on the table, and you got a year to do it. Then we're gonna raise 3 times more. That's what I would like to see. I've asked Mr. Simeon to come because I actually personally contracted with him at the last minute because we didn't have you all signing up to participate. I'm looking at extending his services because we need the money to do a number of different things. And so I've asked him to come today to not only introduce himself, but to give us some key pointers in terms of what he's looking at and how we might better take up his services. With that, I'll start.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. Let me digress for a quick minute before I get started and publicly thank Dr. Patan, Ms. Campbell, and Ebony for their assistance with our fundraising during the Christmas holiday social. Give it up on, please. You'd be pleased to know that Ebony has unpacked her last box, so she plans to be around for a while, so thank you. And there are 2 people here I wanted you to meet from a personal vantage point. One is Dr. Dozie Butler, because I was telling everybody she was in my class, we graduated together, and she was smart then and she was smart now. So give it up for my very brilliant classmate, Dr. Butler. And then there's my cousin on my daddy's side, who his uncle's baby nephew's son and my daddy were first cousins, Dr. Mahone. Say that, Dr. Mahone, wherever you went, there he is, like that. First cousin. But on a serious note, I pulled this article, and it's going to take me a minute to share it with you, but I want you to listen to this very closely. HBCUs in Louisiana generated $14.8 billion. That's 2014. In New Orleans, the local HBCU leaders were surprised. Why? Because like many of you in this room, they don't value how good we are as HBCUs. They rank, if you took that money, and it was commissioned by the United Negro College Fund, by the way, they would rank in the top 200 of the Fortune 500 list of America's largest corporation. Public universities, which included Southern, generated $9.6 billion, private 5.2. This data was collected, by the way, in 2014. Louisiana's 6 HBCUs generated $923 million, 8,454 jobs, and 4,876 off-campus jobs. Each $1 million spent by Louisiana HBCUs and their students generate 13 jobs. SUNO had a $111.4 million spending budget, and the university budget was only $16.3 million. So for every $7 spent, $1 spent, you got $7 in return. SUNO had $105 million economic impact, 895 jobs, 333 on campus, 562 public and private jobs. Dillon, Xavier, and SUNO, 388 million impact, 1370 campus job, 2018 public-private job, 42% economic impact, 4% of jobs in Louisiana. Why am I telling you all this? Because at the end of the day, you have to grab hold to the reality, just like I had to, that Louisiana Black colleges and universities are an integral part of the state. Yes, my job is fundraising, but I need you to understand that the way the system is working itself, and this is no quoted statement by no one else other than myself, before it's over with, public education will be required to sustain itself. What does that mean? You have to be able to pay all your own bills. So I think, and I have to applaud Dr. Fields for his vision. The time is now to start thinking about how we're going to do that. Our role and responsibility, as I can appreciate it, is to go out and deal with a lot of these various corpus, and you can help too. But let me tell you what we're going to do. And I started with the Commissioner of Agriculture, and I told them we're coming, so get ready. People like the Sugar Cane and the Rice Association, those are mega million-dollar corporations. I don't know if they have any kind of relationship with Southern. And I know they don't from the vantage point of giving monies back. We plan to entertain that and to show them why it's in their vested interest too, to help push this forward. What you can do is the people you do business with on a regular basis, oftentimes you personally can't ask them to give to the university if there's a discomfort for you. You shouldn't ask them, but you can always tell them, hey, we have somebody that you can meet at the Ag Center who can talk to you about what we're trying to do in fundraising and bring the two people together. I will serve as your buffer if you're uncomfortable with that idea of asking for money from Southern. And call Ebony, call the office, let me know. I'll be more than happy to talk to them, meet with them. And I guarantee you, I can probably walk away with some kind of contribution for you. This is where we are, this is where we should go. And I applaud the land grant campus for taking the initiative to be one of the first that aggressively pursue that. Because it can happen. We can make it happen. People say you're good at fundraising. I say, you gotta understand something. You hear the yeses and you see the yeses. You don't see all the no's you gotta go to get to the yes. But it's in my DNA, so that's what I do. And I'll be more than happy to work with anyone and anybody as long as it's in the best interest of the land grant campus. Thank you.
Good afternoon, very quickly. I know I'm charged with keeping Dr. Fields on time, so I won't be before you long. But from the Office of Communications, I did want to introduce a new person that we have working with us, and her name is Miss Vidya Boharanda, and she's right there. She's actually working on building from scratch a brand new website for us, a brand new beautiful website. So she'll be working on that over the next few months, and you will be getting requests to help us update the content of the website. She's doing it section by section, so where she's working on, she's asking me for that information, and I'll be reaching out to you for that information as well. And before Dr. Fields comes up, I just, from the capacity that I serve Dr. Fields, I want to thank all of the administrative assistants and for what it is that they do, because we truly could not do what we do all around the land grant campus if it wasn't for the other administrative assistants that serve as a support, and they are really our first line. You know, a lot of times they get the requests, you know, they deal with the people, they do the paperwork, they push the paperwork, they push us, they remind us of what it is that, you know, we need to do. And recently Dr. Marshall, I heard Ms. Baptiste in our administrative council meeting mention how essential the administrative assistants are. And so I just wanted to take an opportunity to say, you know, to everyone, how much we really appreciate you and recognize that part of our excellence is founded on what it is that you do for us. So thank you so much.
I had some other notes, and I don't necessarily see them now. A couple of things I want to point out, though. You know, we have a new provost, Dr. James Amons. He will be visiting all of the colleges between now and the end of next month. He wanted to come to this one, but his schedule accreditation visit took him to Atlanta, so he wasn't able to come. So I'm not sure when he's going to be scheduled, but he will be visiting all colleges to include this one. We'll let you know when that time comes. I would like to say that he is pro-land grant. That's positive for us, and we want to take advantage of it by showing them what we're doing and what we can do. You just heard Ms. Cameron, she talked about the web page. We want to introduce that web page. Hopefully it will be ready at the awards and recognition banquet in April. Will it be ready? She says it will be ready. Good. With that, it's going to be uniquely different, and we invite you to to provide comments to her and to Ms. Gamble. As it relates to communications, we have too many programs, and they're good programs, but nobody knows about them, not enough people know about them, put it that way. And this is not in one area, it's across the whole gamut. And so what I've said to the administrative council, the executive council, and VCs, among others, is that we want to have on every program that we have a communication person. Because I'm too holding them accountable for helping us get the word out. You know, we want you involved to the extent that you can and should be involved. But when people don't know it internally, it's very difficult for people to know it externally. Because we gotta beat our own drum. So keep that in mind. Every land grant, every campus of 5 campuses hosts the board meetings, generally once a year. That includes this campus. We're looking at some possible dates that we can have it. You know, we had thought about having it during this symposium thing, but that's coming sooner than we want. The chairman has suggested the March meeting, but the March meeting is more likely going to be a retreat away from campus. And so I'm not in favor of that meeting, of that time slot. So we may be looking as far away as April. But in any case, whenever we have it, we'll have an opportunity to showcase our students, showcase our faculty in terms of various things, you know, whether it's extension, research, academics. We think we have a good story to tell. And as even some board members have said openly, the land-grant campus is the hidden jewel of the system. That may or may not be true, but we certainly don't want to be hidden. And so to the extent that we can expose ourselves to the general public, to include the board, we want to do that. One of the things I have proposed, in a joking manner but serious, is that this wild hog, deer, and something else, that turkey and chicken and something, I forget, I got a name for it. Turducken, whatever. It's supposed to be a treat. But in addition to the main entree, we're doing a lot of products of various types. And so we want to look at those and showcase those as well. I think you all done something at least one time before that they told me about. So start thinking about it. You got time. I don't think it will be before April, but whenever it is, we want to be able to showcase it in a profound way. So do keep that in mind. Just a few more things. I've asked the social dean and the department heads to consider in a profound way to add graduate programs to their curriculum. You know, if we're talking about grant raising money and whatever, we got to talk about big ticket items. We've got to talk about bringing more faculty in that can do research, that can have stellar academic programs and be more complementary to extension and the research. And that's what we want to do. I know we have a listening audience, probably mostly extension, but possibly some others as well. I want to thank all of you for listening. That's here, but that's in our advanced media in terms of an audience. As I've said to Dr. Partan, we're looking for, and we'll find ways to finance, but having all extension come here, along with you all for a true Detroit meeting. And I don't know when that's going to be. Got to identify resources and whatever to make that happen. You all have talked about lunch, but you didn't talk about how you pay for it. And so I chose not to have lunch, including water. Everything costs. And that's the way we got to start looking at it. Okay? Now you can say it's hard, you can say it's cheap. I'm tired of going in my pocket, and Ms. Baptiste won't let me allow me to use federal funds to do that. So I'm not paying for it. As I close, again, I want to thank you all, and I want to read this statement so I get it all right. But it evolves around customer service. Customer service. It involves around teamwork. And it says, teamwork and customer service, they go hand in hand. We are each other's customers. Let me just repeat that. We are each other's customers. A lot of times we don't look at it that way, but we are. And to the extent that we do, we must learn to serve each other well and be here when we can effectively serve our community. If you look at my vision statement, if you look at the end of my email, it says the operative word for land grant is service. Not extension, not research, not teaching, but service. That's what we want to be about. Collectively, individually, if we start internally serving each other, we would then serve our communities wherever they reside. And I wanted that to be my last word, but before I do that, I want to recognize Dr. Uso Bendelli. Stand up, Dr. Bendelli. Dr. Bendelli believe it or not, he was my student 5 years ago. But he and I met the other day. And he is putting together a Black History program that's, as I understand it, is going to be a little bit different than what it used to be.
I can say a word about that.
Please come on up here so they can hear you.
Come on up there, Doc.
Yeah, the mic is just.
Thank you, everybody. This year, on February 22nd, will be our 24th annual Black History Quiz Bowl on the collegiate level. So again, I'm asking folks to come out and support in terms of judging and scorekeeping, et cetera. But in addition to that, for the last few years, I've been stretching out to the elementary and middle schools. So we're doing one elementary school, Audubon, because they really stepped up to the plate in the past. But in addition, 5 middle schools have chosen to have quiz bowls at their schools. Westdale, McKinley, Scotlandville, finally got Southern Lab, and Brookstown. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the top teams and bring them to campus for the championship round. So even, I'll put the schedule out as soon as it's finalized, but I would appreciate if other folks, if you had time to come to the middle schools with us, because it would be really good to see, for people, the students, to see people like them in professional positions, particularly in the ag and food and family consumer sciences. And the last thing I want to point out is that 2 people asked me the same question So I will answer it at this time. No, I'm not on the back of the payroll.
Thank you, Dr. Benelli. As I've told them, the land grant campus will host the Black History Month celebration that he's putting on. That means that we will pay for it. Whatever that means in terms of money, we will pay for it. I underscore the word we.
And the last point, Dr. Fields, is please, the faculty, please encourage your students to participate. They have to study guides, etc. But a lot of times it takes so long to get those on board. So please encourage your students in the class to participate.
I know we passed the 1:30 time slot, but we're talking about the equipment. All of y'all should have received or will receive this flyer. We modified it a little bit. It used to be alternative careers in agriculture. That's a little bit of misconception because these are careers already in agriculture. So they're not alternative to it. And so we came up with an innovative name that now it reads innovative careers in food and agriculture sciences. That more fits the bill. It doesn't list all the careers. In fact, I would like to see, beyond this broad announcement about all careers, is that you all take the ones from a departmental perspective and identify those specific for your area. And so we can have both. We recruit for all, but we also recruit for within. So keep that in mind. Having said that, Dr. Million-Fontaine, you have the floor. And yes, you do. Okay. And you will tell us about the van, the mobile unit, and we will go out and visit it before we go to lunch.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for allowing me to come.
Beginning in 2014, a team of us started this initiative with some funding, some one-time funding from Hurricanes Gustav and Ike. Would the team stand? You all know who you are?
Team.
Yeah, the team.
Nobody want to be on the team.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
We got $1.5 million, one-time money. And we decided we were going to do 4 different certification courses with the money: small ruminant certification, urban agriculture certification, food farm safety certification, and small business development certification courses. Our certification courses are ongoing. As a matter of fact, Dr. Fatima and Mr. Yohal were out last night in the parks. They were in New Iberia last night teaching. Our certifications are ongoing, but the big deal with this opportunity is the Mobile Educational Technology Unit. It is we budgeted $1 million for the unit. It costs right at $750,000, and it's in the parking lot in the back. It has everything you want to see. What we're going to do with it, we're going to take it across the state of Louisiana, and we're going to park it. And when we park it, we're going to go up there, we're going to offer our courses, we're going to attract the clientele. It has a full kitchen, it has microscopes, it has computers, it has lab space, it has a bathroom, it has, I said computers, it has workstations. No, it doesn't have sleeping quarters. But it does have a sofa type thing. So when I tell you all, it's something that we can all be proud of. It's something that we're going to take across the state, and when we can take it across the state lines, We're doing that too, and I'm standing up here giddy because this is a 20-year dream for me. But y'all, and I know that's country, we will no longer be the hidden jewel, Dr. Fields, because when we go out, we're taking this unit and everybody and anybody with vision will not only see us. At the top of it, it says Agricultural Land Grant Campus, so they will know who we are coming and going. And images are on both sides. So I invite you all, it's out in the back parking lot. And the best news out of everything I just said, we received the reimbursement for it this week. Yes. This week we received the reimbursement for it, so we're no longer in the hole to the system for almost $1 million. All right. Join me as we go out the back.
Hold on, just 1 second. Hold up just 1 second. I omitted in the program announcements and upcoming events. And I know you got a lot of them, but I wanted to recognize Dr. Walker in the rodeo, which the board has asked us to put on. And so we're in the process of making that happen. Do you want to give just a quick view of what's on the rodeo?
Absolutely.
And the other events will be coming out to you between Monday and Tuesday. Listing all the events that we have currently posted in the college.
Jesus said, whatever thou dost, do it quickly. And I know everyone is ready to go.
You sure Jesus said that?
St. Matthew. How many of you attended a trail ride? How many of you attended a national black rodeo? Not many. As Chancellor Dean Fields mentioned, this is a activity pushed by the board. I was asked to deal with this because others did not want to handle it. It is a tall undertaking. I cannot do it all by myself. Service. And I am relying on many of you to help make this a success. And what is the purpose? Scholarship, recruitment, and as of today, someone from the governor's office has committed to being here. The mayor is committed to being a sponsor. We are meeting today at 3 o'clock, Ag Center Room 135. And 138. And we need as many as possible aboard. This event will be April the 14th at the Mini Dome. We will take the floor out of the gym, put dirt in, and the National Black Rodeo Association will be putting on the rodeo. Wow. Ms. Campbell, I think it was Ms. Campbell and Chancellor Fields added a high school, middle school, and educational piece.
Well, we're still working on that.
Okay, if not, that'll make my work even easier in the committee. But if not, the chairman of the rodeo committee, the CEO, has committed to having an activity on that Friday. So we're having a trail ride, a rodeo. And what is the purpose of this? Over the years, Ms. Christy Monroe, we had to give her credit. She have raised in profits $10,000 or more. When Dr. Eubanks was here, the livestock show have never generated a profit. So you have to find some monies to do what? To pay the premium of these animals. That's right. And those monies from the trail ride, those monies from the other thing that Ms. Monroe did was used to pay those premiums to get us out of that debt. So these type of activities help generate money and recruitment. So we need your support. When we come around and ask for support, please do so.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. And just remember, fundraising and recruitment is more than just money. It's also blood, sweat, and sometimes tears. I thank you all for coming to the meetings. Don't forget to visit the band.
And sign in.
And if you haven't signed the sign-in sheet, please do so before you leave. Sign-in sheet, I'm not sure where they are.
See an extra agenda.
Thank you so much.